Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let us recite Bhagavad Gita Sloka. We are reciting. So today is Friday. 3 more days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be reciting Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, text 10. If anyone needs to go first, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll just go in alphabetical order. Okay, so Inba, you can start. Inba, Inia. Inia. Isha.
अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थम् अपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage.
Krishna Ashish.
अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थम् अपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage.
Madhava.
अभ्यासाप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage.
Rasapriya.
अभ्यासेऽपि समर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to a perfect state.
Okay. So next is Saujanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Sargoes to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Abhyasepya samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvam siddhim avapyasi. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Inia Inba, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थम् अपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि. Translation: If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you'll come to the perfect stage. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. India.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि. Translation: If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage.
Yes. Jai Shri Mataji.
Mataji, she's not here.
Jai Ganesh Prabhu.
He's also not here, Mataji.
Okay. So, Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. Oh, not able to recite. Okay. So I'll recite Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 text 10. Abhyasepya samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvan siddhim vapsyasi. If you cannot follow the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Okay. She cannot practice. Okay, so let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 18. King Yayati regains his youth. So yesterday we were reading that King Yayati, after being cursed by Shukracharya to become old and invalid, why he was cursed to become old and invalid? Because he actually, in spite of getting a warning from Shukracharya that he should not allow Sharmishta to come on his bed, which meant that he cannot have bodily relations with her. And this was a grave warning from Shukracharya, which actually meant that actually there he says, under any circumstances, at no time, no matter what the circumstance may be, you should never have a physical relation, meaning you shouldn't have sex with Sharmishta. This was Shukracharya's warning to King Yayati. But King Yayati, when he was approached by Sharmishta, that you are my husband according to Dharma, and I wish to have children. So it only befits you to grant my request. So King Yayati actually considered that on one side he has Shukracharya's grave warning, which if he didn't follow, certainly there's going to be consequences. And then he also considered what Sharmishta said, and he came to the conclusion that he must stick to Dharma. So he could see that actually satisfying Sharmishta's request was according to religious principles. So in spite of the warning from Shukracharya, King Yayati gave Sharmishta children. Now for this he was cursed by Shukracharya to become old and invalid, because his idea was after becoming old he won't have any lust. But then we discussed all this yesterday again as a recap, so we won't spend more time here. But ultimately he became old, he got cursed, and then Shukracharya said, if somebody can exchange their youth with you, then you can once again become young and you can, fulfill your desires. So he actually went and asked one by one all his sons. The eldest son Yadu, actually, the eldest son Yadu, he had 2 sons from Devyani and 3 from Sharmishta. So the eldest was Yadu, and he refused for a higher cause. His reasoning was that if I exchanged my youth with your old age, I would not be able to renounce this world and thereby take to devotional service towards the end of my life. Why? Because I would not have fulfilled my material desires. I would have those desires in my heart. Then, even if I renounced externally, because internally I would be hankering for those desires, so my renunciation would not be actually fruitful. On the contrary, if I enjoyed, I just followed the varnashram system, basically. That's what it means. So now I'll enter into grihastha ashram, or I will enjoy in grihastha ashram, and then I will give up later on, take to vanprastha and then sannyas. That's going to be a steady progress, right? And then ultimately, after sannyas, the whole idea of renunciation is after sannyas, I'll be able to render devotional service. So for a higher cause, he refused King Yayati's request. So therefore, nobody finds fault with King Yadu's refusing to obey his father. Whereas the other brothers, so after Yadu refused, King Yayati went to his other sons like Druhyu, Anu, Puru, Turvasu. After Yadu, Turvasu. But all of them, except for Puru, all of them also refused. Why? Because they felt that their youth and the pleasures that coming from youth were eternal. They didn't want to part with that. Now this was sinful, disobeying the father's order for sense gratification, basically. They didn't want to follow the order because that would impede their sense gratification. So that was sinful. Anyway, so now finally, King Yayati approached the youngest son Puru and said, my dear son, and he was the most qualified, it is also said, Puru was most qualified of the sons. So King Yayati said, my dear son, please don't refuse my request like your elder brothers. Please exchange your youth with me. So now, what happened after that? Saujanya Mataji, is it your turn today? श्रीपूरुरुवाच को नु लोके मनुष्येन्द्र पितुर आत्मा कृतः पुमान् प्रतिकर्तुं क्षमो यस्य प्रसादाद् विन्दते परम्.
I can read.
Yes,
I don't remember, but I can read.
go ahead.
Puru replied, O your majesty, who in this world can repay his debt to his father? By the mercy of one's father, one gets human form of life, which can enable one to become an associate of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
So Puru is responding to his father. When the father said, please don't refuse my request. So Puru is saying, oh your majesty, Who in this world can repay his debt to his father? Yes? Who can repay the debt to his father? That means you are indebted. Whatever the father asks, the son must do because he is already in debt. He has received so much from the father, beginning with this body. If the father does not, so this body is developed from where? Body is developed from, actually the body is developed from the mother, but for the body to even begin, life is coming from the father. Life is coming from the father. So one is completely indebted to the father, both father and mother, but father, because there's no life, right, without father. So every King Puru is saying, king means he'll become king later. Now they're all, the sons of the king. So Puru said that, Your Majesty, who in this world can repay his debt to his father? By the mercy of one's father, one gets the human form of life. Yes. Look at you get this human form of life. And what is the significance of human form of life? It can enable one to become an associate of the Supreme Lord. Perfect, huh? So, why you are indebted to your father? This is called Krishna consciousness. You see the connection to bhakti, connection to Krishna in every aspect. So Puru is saying, why one is indebted to father? You can say, oh, father gave me food, father worked for me, father gave me moral values, so on and so forth. But coming straight to the point, because of your father, you got this human form of life. And human form of life is sought by even demigods, what to speak of anyone else. Because in this human form of life, one gets an opportunity to become an associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we are getting this opportunity because of our Father. Therefore, nobody can ever repay the debt he has to his Father. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Is Pragnya there, Mataji? Is she going to read?
No, Mataji.
Okay, so next will be, I think, Inba. Yes, Inba.
Yes, Mataji. The purport. The father gives the seed of the body, and this seed gradually grows and develops until one ultimately attains the developed human body with consciousness higher than that of the animals. In the human body, one can be elevated to the higher planets, and furthermore, if one cultivates Krishna consciousness, one can return home back to Godhead. This important human body is obtained by the grace of the Father, and therefore everyone is indebted to his Father. Of course, in other lives, one also gets a father and mother. Even cats and dogs have fathers and mothers. But in the human form of life, the father and mother can award their son the greatest benediction by teaching him to become a devotee. When one becomes a devotee, he achieves the greatest benediction because he completely avoids the repetition of birth and death. Therefore, the father who trains his child in Krishna consciousness is the most benevolent father. Benevolent father in this world. It is said, Janame Janame Sabe Pita Mata Paya. Krishna Guru Nahi Mile Baja Hari. Everyone gets a father and mother, but if one gets the benediction of Krishna and Guru, he can conquer material nature and return home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So, Puru said, in a Krishna conscious way, on one level, and Srila Prabhupada takes it to the next level. Puru said that who can repay one's debt to his father? Because it is by the mercy of father you get this human form of life. And in this human form of life, you get an opportunity to become an associate of the Lord. Now, Srila Prabhupada, the purport is saying, yes, we are indebted to the Father because same thing, what Puru said. But what if the Father is a Krishna conscious person who is actually training you in Krishna consciousness? How much more indebted you are to your Father. If he is a Krishna conscious devotee, how much more you are indebted to a father. So simply getting a father and mother, that's not the greatest benediction, because every species of life in this material world has a father and mother. Whether you are a snake or you are a bird or you are, anyone, you will have a father and mother. But to get a guru who is your, so you take birth twice. First birth is from your father and mother, and second birth is when you take initiation from your guru. So that is your second birth, and in fact, that is more important than your first birth. The second birth, which is your initiation by your guru, that is more important than your first birth. Srila Prabhupada says this about himself also. And imagine how much Srila Prabhupada was indebted to his father, Gaur Mohan De. He dedicates his Krishna book to his father. And Srila Prabhupada says his father trained him right from the beginning of his life in Krishna consciousness. Every night when they would be sleeping as children, Srila Prabhupada remembers they would hear his father ringing bell, worshipping their home deities, Radha Krishna, ting, 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 like that. And they would wake up hearing that bell in the morning. And even in the night, when the father would return from his business, he would be worshipping. And they would be sleeping by then, the children. And they would hear the bell. So he was, and then, how Srila Prabhupada got his Rath Yatra cart from his father, and how he always encouraged his son to be a Krishna conscious devotee. His mother, Srila Prabhupada's mother, wanted him to become a big lawyer, right? Go to England and study law and come back and you'll be a big person in society. His father said, no, my son won't be a Malecha. He won't go to England or anywhere. Rather, he hired a Mridanga teacher to come home and teach Srila Prabhupada Mridanga. Whereas his mother hired an English teacher to come home and teach Srila Prabhupada English. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying, so much the Father has done, isn't it? In Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada is extremely grateful. Even, many, many years later, Srila Prabhupada's father had passed away when Srila Prabhupada was still a young man. And now when Srila Prabhupada wrote Krishna book, he himself was on a physical level quite old, over 70 years of age, but still he remembers his father. He feels that gratitude to his father, and he dedicates his Krishna book to his father. Still, Srila Prabhupada said that whatever he learned from his father was reinforced by his spiritual father, Om Vishnupad, Ashtotar Shata, Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, Srila Prabhupada. So, and in his purport, Srila Prabhupada writes how the second birth is more important than the first birth. This is your spiritual birth, then you get a spiritual master. So, that was Srila Prabhupada's purport here. I'll go over one more time. So, Puru had said, no one can ever repay the debt one has to his father. Because father is giving you a human birth. Human birth. So, if the human body, in the human body, one can be elevated to higher planets, right? So, you can go to various destinations according to your work in human form of life. But if you cultivate Krishna consciousness, the highest destination, you can go back home, back to Godhead, or you can get a relationship with Krishna. This important human body is obtained by the grace of the Father, therefore everyone is indebted to his Father. Of course, in other lives, one also gets a father and mother. Even cats and dogs have fathers and mothers. But in the human form of life, the father and mother can award their son the greatest benediction by teaching him to become a devotee. So, this is a devotee father. So, simply getting a human form from father and mother, that is one thing. But even higher than that is to get a father and mother who will teach the living entity to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. When one becomes a devotee, he achieves the greatest benediction. Yes, you stop this cycle of birth and death once and for all if you become a devotee. So that father who trains his child in Krishna consciousness is the most benevolent father in this world. That's the conclusion. So all of you, those who are children, you all have wonderful Krishna conscious fathers, and others, we are all indebted to our fathers, because if they had not given us these bodies, then how would we practice Krishna consciousness today? So yeah, so this quote, Janame Janame Sabe Pita Mata Pai, in every life you get father and mother, but Krishna Guru Nahi Mile Bhaja Hari. Everyone gets a father and mother, but if one gets the benediction of Krishna and Guru, he can conquer material nature. So the real father is Krishna. Text 44. Uttamaschintitam kuryat proktakari tu madhyamaha adhamo shraddhaya kuryat akarto charitam pituhu. Okay, so did you read Inia? No, right?
No, Mataji.
Go ahead.
A son who acts by anticipating what his father wants him to do is first class. One who acts upon receiving his father's order is second class. And one who executes his father's order irreverently is third class. But a son who refuses his father's order is like his father's tools.
So now, what are the gradations of the son? A son who acts by anticipating what his father wants him to do is first class. That means, anticipates means the father has not said anything, he didn't ask. But the son is so well tuned in with the father's desires that even without the father's asking, he knows right away what the father wants, and he will carry out activities to fulfill the desires of the father, whatever the father is expecting. So whatever he anticipates without the father's telling him, he can understand what the father wants, and he does that. Such a son is a first class son. Of course, in this context, Srila Prabhupada says, because son and disciple are similar. Yes, disciple is also compared to a son. So Srila Prabhupada says, now thinking that I know what is in the heart of my guru, my spiritual master, you do something which is actually, that means you're not really tuned in. So your guru is, let's say, asking you for a glass of water, and you think, oh, milk is better than water. Let me bring milk, nice hot milk instead of water. And you give it to your guru, and you feel proud thinking that, see, I did more than what he asked for, so he's going to be happy with me. No. So let's say it's a hot day and you are tired, or the guru is tired and he wants some nice water to refresh himself, and the disciple brings hot milk in hot sun. So that wouldn't be good. So such a disciple is not first class, right? But somebody who is very well tuned in with the guru, he knows exactly what the guru wants. We see that type of relationship with Srila Prabhupada and some of his intimate disciples. If you see the memories, you will see His Grace, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. He was very close to Srila Prabhupada. So he would know, even before Srila Prabhupada said, he would know. I can give you one example. So once uh, uh, so they were quite, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj was quite competitive when it comes to book distribution. So they would have these goals set for how many books would be distributed that year during Christmas marathon. So there would be competition between different temples. So Maharaj made, like he said to BBT that whatever any other temple distributes number, right? Because what do you have to give ultimately when you distribute books? What happens? You sell the books and then you get the money, and that money is deposited in the book trust, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. So he said, whatever is the highest amount, right? I will do that, plus I will give $10,000 on top of that. You just write, like it was like I don't know, it was like a blank check or something. You just take it. He just actually gave a check that whatever is the highest amount of books distributed and the Lakshmi which is deposited, add $10,000 to that. Here is the check. You can put it in the bank within that time. So it was pretty competitive. And then after the whole thing, they actually did it. They fulfilled that condition. But you can imagine how they would work, to meet that deadline day and night, distributing books, Srila Prabhupada's books. But at the end of that whole thing, devotees were complaining to Srila Prabhupada that this was not right, this type of competition and, and so on and so forth. and they were coming and complaining to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada called Maharaj and to give an explanation. Everybody is complaining. So Maharaj, he was like, after doing all this, now they're all complaining what to do. And he was like sitting there in front of, this was in the night, right? And Srila Prabhupada said, the Maharaj said, Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what they want me to do. Maybe I should just go to China or something. He just said, it meant like, just go to the moon. That means, what do they expect me to do? Maybe I should, so I should just drop everything and disappear. That was his intention, right? And then there was no, right, they were not getting anywhere. And then he was like, all right. And he just left to go take rest that night. And the next day morning, he attended Mangalarti. And right after Mangalarti, Srila Prabhupada's servant comes to, so I think it was Harishori Prabhu or somebody, Prabhupada's personal servant, comes to Tamal Krishna Maharaj's room right after Mangalarti and says, Srila Prabhupada wants to see you. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj immediately says, I'm not going. And the servant says, what do you mean? And he said, no, I'm not going. I'm not going to China. And the person said, but how do you know what Srila Prabhupada wants you to do? And he said, I know it. I'm not going to China. And then he said, the servant said, anyway, Srila Prabhupada wants you to come, just come. So he went, and that's exactly what Srila Prabhupada wanted him to do. Go to China and start the movement, right? Preach Krishna consciousness in China. And of course, he tried to be very, like firm about he didn't want to go, and he was giving excuses like, no, who will take care of the Radha Damodar book distribution here, party here? And he was cultivating so many brahmacharis. So Prabhupada said, I don't want you to do anything here. I just want you to go to China. You drop everything here. I don't want any of this. Srila Prabhupada was also very firm and very serious about it. If you can hear, just hear that in Srila Tamal Krishna Maharaj's memories, he speaks about this particular incident. You'll get a better picture. Srila Prabhupada was, putting on his tilak, and he wouldn't even look at Tamal Krishna. It was like, you just have to do this, and he wouldn't take anything else. You must go, that's it. And finally, at that moment, Tamal Krishna Maharaj thought, why am I resisting? What is the whole purpose of what I'm doing? I want to please Srila Prabhupada with my services. So whether he's doing the book distribution or the Radha Damodar party or cultivating brahmacharis, everything was meant to please Srila Prabhupada. And here Srila Prabhupada was directly telling him that he wants him to go to China, that would please him. Then why am I resisting? And he said, all right, I will go. And immediately Srila Prabhupada had a broad smile. So all that, Srila Prabhupada's being serious and everything was just to get Tamal Krishna Maharaj to agree to go to China. And as soon as he said okay, then just everything just changed. And Maharaj went to China, and as a result, today we have so many, and there is Krishna consciousness in China. Many devotees from China are there. And it's not easy to preach in China. It's a communist country. But Maharaj actually went and preached there, brought Krishna consciousness to China. So anyway, this I was telling you how a first class disciple is he who knows what the spiritual master wants him to do, even without the spiritual master saying it to him. So this is just one incident. So many incidents are there. He was like the right hand of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada depended on Tamal Krishna Maharaj for uh, many things in India. So here what we are discussing is Puru is speaking to his father, King Yayati. Well, and he's saying a son who acts by anticipating what his father wants him to do is first class. One who acts upon receiving his father's order is second class. Okay, so so that's what I was saying. Srila Prabhupada says, you are thinking maybe Guru wants this and you try to be smart, right? I understand what Guru is thinking and you do the opposite of what he wants. That is not appreciated. It's better to be a second class and carry out the order. The Guru tells you, I want water, just go and bring water. That is appreciated. Than imagining something which the Guru does not want. That will come when you actually become, you become very transparent. That means you don't have any personal agenda. You don't have any desires that are separate from Guru's orders, Guru's desires. So that comes with that type of dedication to the spiritual master. About becoming one with the absolute truth, the Brahmavadis, they want to go and merge into Brahman. But real becoming one with the Lord means being one in purpose. The Lord's mission is to deliver all the conditioned souls in this world. And that devotee who has that as his only goal, then he becomes one with the Lord in his mission. This is wanted. Becoming one means being one in purpose. You don't have any desire save and except carrying out the order of the Supreme Lord or understanding what is the desire of the Supreme Lord, and you give your life and soul to fulfill that desire. So to be able to understand what is the desire of the spiritual master, the disciple must be really surrendered. He should be really surrendered to the spiritual master, sold out servant of the spiritual master. Then by the mercy of spiritual master, by the mercy of Krishna, he can understand. That's an elevated disciple. But artificially, if you're trying to pretend like an elevated disciple, then you're not first class. You're actually 10th class, because you're not even doing what the spiritual master is asking you to do. His orders are direct, right? He tells you, I want you to do this. And you think, oh, I'll do something else and he'll be pleased with me. No. Of course, there are also cases where in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, his intimate associates, the orders, the Lord says something and the disciple or the devotee does something else. Externally, it seems like disobeying the Lord's order, but actually internally the Lord is very pleased. So again, this is a very high exalted stage where even by disobeying the order, the disciple or devotee is actually pleasing the master. But for that, you should know the heart of the master properly, then you can do all that. So safe side. The bottom line is to be on the safe side. You can stay on the second class level, second class disciple. He will do what the disciple asks, the spiritual master asks him to do. That's called a second class. Son, okay, here let's take a son. So the spiritual the father says do this and he does that. That's a second class. First class is even without the father saying anything, the son anticipates and he does. Second class is the father tells you what to do and you do that. That is second class. What about third class? One who executes his father's order irreverently is third class. So, second class is he will do exactly what the father is telling him to do properly with respect. Third class is he will do what the father does but has no respect for it, maybe with grudge or whatever, without any respect, but he'll just do it. Oh, okay, I have to do. That is third class. One who executes his father's order irreverently, without any respect, without any care. That's a third class. But a son who refuses, right, outright, he says, no, I won't do it. Such a son is, it doesn't even say his fourth class, it says he's like his father's stool. That's a very heavy, analogy. Because he's worthless. He's an ingrate. After receiving everything from the father, now when the father asks the son to do something, he says, I won't do it. Such a son, he is not first class, second class, third class, or even 10th class. He's the worst of all. He's the lowest. What is the value of stool in a person's life? Rejected. You don't even want to look at it. Isn't it? So a son who refuses to carry out the order of the father is like stool. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. So just remember the context. This is Puru speaking to his father in Puru. Purport. So Isha, Jai Ganesh Prabhu and Jai Shri Mataji are not there, right?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat
Here,
Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Please go ahead. Purport.
Puru, Yayati's last son, immediately accepted his father's proposal. For although he was the youngest, he was very qualified. Puru thought, I should have accepted my father's proposal before he asked, but I did not. Therefore, I am not a first class son. I am second class. But I do not wish to become the lowest type of son, who is compared to his father's stool. One Indian poet has spoken of Putra and Mutra. Putra means son and Mutra means urine. Both the son and urine comes from the same genitals. If a son is an obedient devotee of the Lord, he is called Putra, or a real son. Otherwise, if he is not learned and is not a devotee, a son is nothing better than urine. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah. Both urine and semen come from the same place, the genitals. But from semen, you can get a son. And that son, initially, the father, takes care, parents, father and mother, they raise the child, right? From the early age, even during pregnancy, the mother has to go through so much, and the father has to also make so many sacrifices for the son. And after the child is born, son or daughter, and then after the child is born, stay up in the night, right? Feed the child, change the diapers, and then they fall sick, so on and so forth. And then give them proper food, raise them, give them education, protect them. So when is it, when does the father actually get paid back for all the sacrifices that he does? When the son actually grows up and then takes the father's responsibility and he says, now I will, I will carry out. I will do everything for you. You can, you can now relax because I'm grown up now. I will do. You work so much for me, for the family. Now I'll take the responsibility of the family. You can relax. Then such a worthy son, actually that is also on a material level. Actually on the spiritual level would be if the son actually becomes a devotee, right? If the son actually becomes a devotee, that is really paying off, because if the son becomes a pure devotee of Krishna, then the father, his father, so many generations, they're all liberated. Lord Nrsimhadev says this to Prahlad Maharaj. What to speak of your father? Because Prahlad Maharaj said, please deliver my father. He was ignorant, but please deliver him. So Nrsimhadev said, why? What to speak of your father? You are such a devotee, Prahlad. So many generations before you and so many generations after you, everyone is delivered because of your bhakti. So that is a qualified son. That is a, how do you say, worthy. That's a worthy son, right? Like all the trouble that the father goes through to beget such a child, such a son, and raise him, all that difficulty is worth it if the son becomes a devotee of Krishna. Now, on the other side, if you are the son or a daughter, if you really want to repay for all the sacrifices that your parents have made for you, if you become a devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna, that's the best way you can actually reciprocate with all the love that your parents have given you, all the sacrifices that they have made to raise you. You become a devotee of Krishna, and they are automatically taken care of by Krishna, because Krishna is not an ingrate. Krishna is very grateful for everything that even, a mixed devotee, when he offers something, Krishna is grateful. What to speak of if you become a pure devotee? Now, this is a worthy son. So the son, how did we start off this discussion? The child is coming. So the very beginning of conception is the semen coming from the genitals. And that eventually grows into a child. Now, from the same genitals, urine is also coming. What is the value of urine? You have to, get rid of it. That's all. There's no value. So, Puru is saying, later on he becomes Maharaj. So, King Puru is saying that a son who disobeys his father, who refuses to obey his father, he is not really a worthy son. He's as good as, well, this is not Maharaj Puru saying, this is, well, he said he's like a stool. So Srila Prabhupada is quoting another poet who says, Putra and Mutra. Putra means son, Mutra means urine. Both are coming from the same place. If the son is a worthy son, then he's actually Putra. You know what is Putra? Putra means there is a hell called Pum. Tra means Trayate. Trayate means one who delivers, just like Kshatriya. Kshat Trayate. One who relieves, one who delivers from kshat. Kshat is like khatra in Hindi. Khat, right? Khatri. So kshatriya means one who delivers you from danger. One who delivers you from danger or fear. That is a kshatriya. Similarly, putra, one who delivers you from the hell called pu or pum. That is putra. How? If you have a son, then he performs your shraddha ceremony, right? And he offers oblations to the ancestors after the father dies. And by this, oblations means he's offering the prasadam of Lord Vishnu. So by accepting the prasad of Lord Vishnu, the father is delivered from going to hell called Ub, because he has a putra, the son, who does, offers shraddha. By that, the father does not have to go to this hell called Pum, putra. Now, if he is not a worthy son, like we read in Bhagavad Gita, Varna Sankara, then instead of delivering the father by the bad deeds of such a son, his ancestors will go to hell, it is said. Such a son sends the father to hell by his sinful deeds. So what is the value of such a son? He is as good as Mutra. Even though he's born and all the energy that is spent on him, but he's no more valuable than urine. So this is the difference between Putra and Mutra. So highest would be somebody who becomes a devotee of the Supreme Lord. He's the most worthy son. But even otherwise, if he didn't become a devotee, at least if he's following the Varnashram system, right, then he will do all the duties that a son is supposed to do to protect the ancestors. That means the father and the other ancestors from going to hell. Then he is also a worthy son. He's a worthy son. And also within the Varnashram system, there are duties of a son. You cannot disobey your father. We discussed that already yesterday. But how Yadu is actually exempt from that, because for a higher cause he was disobeying. But otherwise, not for a higher cause, the other brothers who refused to take the old age of the father, so that was actually sinful. So here in Puru is saying that son who, without the father's asking, he understands the father's desire and he carries out, such a son is first class. Second class would be a person who would carry out the order after he's asked to do. And third class would be he carries out the order but not with any reverence. And one who refuses to carry out the order of the father is no better than stool. So Puru is thinking, my father is asking me to give him my youth. I should have done this even before he asked me. Then I would have been a first class son. I should have done this even before he asked me. I would have been a first class son. Okay, I lost that opportunity. At least I should be a second class son now. When he asked me, I should carry it out. I don't want to become the lowest by refusing. I don't want to be like stool. This is the last son's Puru's thought. Okay. Is Jayashree Mataji there?
Mataji, we didn't read.
You also didn't read. Okay. So 1 second, I'll come to you. Jayashree Mataji is there?
She's not available.
She's not there. Okay, so Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita, text 45. Iti pramuditah puruh प्रत्यगृह्णाज्जरां पितुः सोऽपि तद्वयसा कामान् यथावज्जुजुषे नृपा. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sukadev Goswami said, in this way, O Maharaj Parikshit, the son named Puru was very pleased to accept the old age of his father, Yayati. He took the youth of his son and enjoyed this material world as he required.
So, thank you. So, it is not that, oh, my father is asking what to do. It's okay, I'll just do it. That was not the mood. He was very pleased. Oh, I get an opportunity to serve my father. He's asking me, and this is my great fortune that he's even asking me, and I get an opportunity to serve my father. He was very pleased to give his youth. Think about it. He's giving away his youth to his father so his father can enjoy, and he's taking old age. When he's actually the youngest of the sons, he was a young man. He gave his youth to his father very happily. He was very pleased to do that. And so that the father can enjoy as long as he likes. That's something. This is Puru. In this way, O Maharaj Parikshit, the son named Puru was very pleased. He was very pleased to accept the old age of his father, Yayati. Not that he was feeling proud. See, I am the one who actually am doing this. No, he was thinking, I couldn't be a first class son. At least let me be a second class son. He was very pleased. So how much pleased the father must be with such a son. Next, Aditi Lata Mataji. सप्तद्वीपपतिः सम्यक् पितृवत्पालयन् प्रजाः यथोपजोषं विषयान् जुजुषे व्याहतेन्द्रियः.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, before I read one point, although we also feel the same thing, although we are gradually progressing, I mean, I'm old, and everyone is gradually progressing towards old age, but when they're old, even that time also people think, I mean, people feel that we are young. You know what I mean? But only our body is aging. But our mind is still young. That's why, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, that when Puru's
Yayati, father.
yeah, no, the Puru is feeling that when he's young, but his body is getting old, but his mind is still young. We all feel that way, but our
Not Puru, his father, Yayati.
but
Yayati
Puru,
is asking for the youth of his son.
no, son, Puru only gave his youth, right?
Yes, yes.
I'm talking about Puru because he's young in mind and body. He became old in the body, but his mind is still young. We also, similarly, we also feel the same. We, although our body is giving up, our body is becoming old, but we are, in our mind, we are still young. That's why, like my father also says, he feels like he can do it, but he cannot do it.
Right.
But because his mind is still young, because
Yeah.
his soul is always eternally young, and his body is aging, aged.
Yeah, I mean, that part I understand, that even though the body is aged, the mind is young. That I understand. But I'm just trying to connect with Puru, how his body is old, but still his mind is young. How this is applicable to Puru?
Literally, I'm saying that his is literally happening. Ours is body is old. Ours is, I mean, literal. The connection is he is instantly becoming old, right? Not gradually becoming old. So he's still young, but his just body becomes old. We are
Like
also
that.
doing that, but
Yeah.
our mind is still stagnant in one place. Even my mom also, when she talks sometimes, I feel that she is still in her college days,
Acha,
because
acha.
our mind is still there,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's become old.
Yeah. But for him, he's young now and instantly he's getting old, but he'll continue to be young because it's so fresh in his mind. But what to speak of those who, like who gradually become old, still their mind is young. How much more the mind should be young for Puru, because he's now young and all of a sudden the body is old, but his mind will still be young. That's what you're saying. Okay, got it, Mataji. Okay, thank you. So you read now. Yes.
Okay, thereafter, King Yayati became the ruler of the entire world, consisting of 7 islands, and ruled the citizens exactly like a father. Because he had taken the youth of his son, his senses were unimpaired, and he enjoyed as much material happiness as he desired.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you. About King Yayati, I've been listening again to the lectures by His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj. And of course, so when I say I've been listening to Maharaj's lectures, means Maharaj speaks from, the commentaries of Acharyas, and, he brings out more points. So about King Yayati, Maharaj says that he's a very exalted person. So let's not commit the mistake of thinking that, oh, he was so lusty or anything. No. Just think about when he pulled Devyani out of that well. Uh, his only emotion was, oh, a poor girl, she's in the well, right? He was only feeling compassion. That was his only emotion. Compassion for a suffering soul. Let me help that person. That's all. When he gave his upper cloth, when he pulled her out, his emotion was, let me help her. That's all. It was Devyani who first proposed, who said, oh, you held my hand. You already did Pani Grahan, right? You accepted my hand. So now you should marry me. And even when she said that, she was very, very beautiful. But King Puru said, ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है, right? Just because I held your hand, it doesn't mean that we are married. No, no, it's not like that. And then she went on to say, no, no, but this is the arrangement of the Lord, that I didn't know that you would come here. I don't know anything about you. You didn't know that I was in this well. And you happened to come here to this well only, that when you're thirsty, you could have gone to some other well to drink. This is all arrangement of the Supreme Lord, or of Providence. We are meant to marry each other. That's why you came here and you held my hand, you pulled me out. So after she said so much, she was literally asking him. So then he said, okay, so who are you and who's your father? And then she said, I'm the daughter of Shukracharya. And then immediately he closed his ears and he said, this is impossible. You are a Brahmana's daughter, such an exalted Brahmana's daughter, and I am a Kshatriya. How can I marry you? No, no. That means this is, again, you cannot do that either, Mataji, Aditi Lata Mataji, because she was also a very exalted lady. That also Maharaj says again and again, right? She never got angry otherwise. On this occasion, she got angry because this was providence, right? It was providence. Why Lord Shiva came there? That area was meant only for women. Men don't even come there. And Lord Shiva, why he had to take only that path at that time? And in haste they were coming out, and then the clothes got exchanged, and Devyani out of nowhere becomes so angry. All this is providence, it is said. So yeah, we won't make any comments about, yeah. So, but about Maharaj Yayati is an exalted person. Let's not make this mistake, right? Although the principle is discussed when Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, how the father is shamelessly asking his son and all that. So the principle of lust to drive that point through, Srila Prabhupada gives examples how in today's world everything is centered around lust, like that. But as a person, then he is very exalted. So about this, I'm just telling you that even though she was asking him, at every step he was considering, is this dharma or not? He would only do that which was according to dharma. If it is not according to dharma, he cannot even think about it. So then, when she said she was a Brahmana's daughter, he said, "My God, no way, you're a Kshatriya, don't worry, you should marry a Brahmana. I will arrange for your marriage. I will find a Brahmana and I will get you married." That's what King Puru said. And then she said, "No, but no Brahmana will ever marry me because, I got a curse from Kacha, the son of Brihaspati. Then, if I cannot marry any Brahmana, then the next below Brahmana is who? A Kshatriya. I'll have to marry a Kshatriya. And who can be a better Kshatriya than you? And see how we met. This is all providence." So when she said all this, Maharaj Yayati noticed that now his mind was also becoming inclined towards Devyani. And he was thinking, why is my mind becoming inclined towards Devyani? And then, because his mind was going towards her, he came to the conclusion, because his mind was completely under his control, his mind and senses. It's not like they were, for us, or, uncontrolled mind. Uncontrolled mind is your worst enemy. It degrades you. But if your mind is controlled, it becomes your best friend. Krishna tells this in Bhagavad Gita. So, Maharaj Yayati's mind was completely under his control. And that mind was now inclined towards Devyani. So they were so exalted that their mind, what comes to their mind, is actually a pramana for them. That is the proof that something is right or not. Because they were actually so exalted. Nothing wrong could ever come in their mind. This is how Maharaj explains. His Holiness Radhagovind Maharaj explains. So, King Yayati, when he saw that his mind was getting inclined to Devyani, then he concluded, then he asked about her ancestry. When she said, "I'm, Shukracharya's daughter," now he went back and he will see that actually she's coming in the line of Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni, we read, right? That's how we are coming down in Chandravamsa. We came, yeah. So we saw Parashuram, right, from Gadi, right? Jamadagni, Parashuram, and Gadi's wife gave birth to Vishwamitra. And then Vishwamitra, of course, later on became a rishi. So in that line, Shukracharya is coming, Devyani. So then he connected the two and he said, "No wonder my mind was going towards you. Otherwise, my mind could never do anything which is against the scriptures. How can my mind get attracted to a Brahmana's girl? It's not possible." Now it makes sense because you're coming in the lineage of Kshatriya, right? You have that ancestry of a Kshatriya. That's why my mind was going towards you. So he accepted. And even after he accepted, she said that, "Oh, you are my husband, don't let anyone else take my hand." And he also approved of it. So now she is agreeable and I am agreeable. Still, he said, "I will only accept your hand in marriage when your father does your kanyadan." Right? Again, strictly according to dharma. He didn't touch her or anything. No. And she went back home. So this is Maharaj Yayati. So now Maharaj Yayati asked to exchange the youth of his son, Kuru, and he got the youth from his son and he ruled. That's what we read in this verse. He actually ruled the whole planet Earth. King Yayati became the ruler of the entire world. Now he's young again. He was young. He was cursed by Shukracharya to become old. It's not that naturally he became old. Right? He was made. He was cursed to become old. So when he got his youth, then he ruled the entire world consisting of 7 islands and ruled the citizens exactly like a father. So now his senses were also strong and he enjoyed whatever material happiness that he desired to enjoy. So we will stop Srimad Bhagavatam reading here today. So tomorrow Isha will begin. Let's read. I know it's past time. Little bit. We'll read one verse of Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 1. Text 21 and 22. Please repeat. Say Arjuna Uvacha Senayorubayormadhye Ratham Sthapaya Mechuta Yavadetan Niriksheham Yodhu Kamanavasthitan Kairmaya Saha Yodhavyam Asmin Rana Samudyame. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the 2 armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So the scene is on both sides the conches are blown. Arjun also blew his conch, Lord Krishna. Kaurava's side also they blew their conches. That means now they're ready to shoot arrows. Then at that time Arjuna is telling Krishna, please take me to the middle of the army battlefield so that I can get a clear view of the enemy. In other words, I want to see who exactly are assembled here on the enemy side, who have come to support that Duryodhan and who have come here desiring to fight with me. I want to take a look at them. Please take me. Like that. After the conches were blown. This was actually the time to start shooting arrows. But at that time Arjuna says, please draw my chariot between the 2 armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight. Oh, of course, it doesn't say, yeah, on the other side, of course, right? Because he knows already who's on his side, who have come. So he wants to see on the other side also. I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in his affection for his devotees, and thus he is addressed herein as infallible. Achyuta. Ratham sthapaya me achyuta. Ratham sthapaya me achyuta. Achyuta means infallible. Infallible means one who never fails or one who never falls. He never falls from what? From his affection to his devotees. Under any circumstances, he never gives up his affection to his devotees. So Arjuna is calling him Achyuta. Why? Because you are driving my chariot. That doesn't mean you are my chariot driver and I am your master. No, you are always my master. It is out of your affection for me that you have accepted this position, and I am aware of that. You are my master, although you are driving my chariot. So therefore, O Achyuta, please take my chariot. As charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjun, and since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible, right? Also, Arjun is saying, I know you are my master. I know you are the supreme, not just my master, you are the supreme personality of Godhead. But you have agreed to draw my chariot, right? You have out of your affection for me, you have agreed to play this role as a charioteer. So therefore, I am asking you to take my chariot, because now you're playing that role. Therefore, I am telling you, please take my chariot. But I am aware of your position. Therefore, O Achyuta, right? So you don't hesitate to do this. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, Rishikesh, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord, and similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. So there's always competition between the Lord and his devotee. The devotee wants to serve the Lord, and the Lord also wants to serve the devotee, and there's competition. Who will serve more? He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees, assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders, right? So that is why in rasas you will see you have Shanta rasa, of course, starting, let's say, Dasya. Dasya is the lowest, and then higher than that is Sakya, where you are equal with the Lord. And then Vatsalya is even higher, where you are superior to the Lord. And Madhurya, right, that's like a whole different, everything is there in Madhurya, conjugal relationship. You can chastise and you can do so many things. So that's an exalted position, one who comes to that level of ordering Krishna, chastising Krishna. That means their intensity of love is much higher. So, since he is a master, everyone is under his orders and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, how he will order him? When he has that much love for the Lord, then he's elevated to that position. So when Krishna finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjun had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers. But he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhan, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war. So, we will discuss this verse again tomorrow, just because we are running out of time. I mean, we ran out of time already. But a little bit more we can discuss tomorrow from the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So I will stop here. I'll just read a little bit of Leelamrita, Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita, and I'll end the session. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, April 1966. So this is the next chapter. Someone broke into room 307 while Srila Prabhupada was out and stole his typewriter and tape recorder. When Prabhupada returned to the building, the janitor informed him of the theft. An unknown burglar had broken the transom glass, climbed through, taken the valuables, and escaped. As Prabhupada listened, he became convinced that the janitor himself was the culprit. Of course, he couldn't prove it, so he accepted the loss with disappointment. Some friends offered replacements for his old typewriter and tape recorder. So the rest we will read tomorrow. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. We will meet
Thank you,
again tomorrow.
Mataji.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.